Tribes are like countries. They don't have friends, they have interests. Right now, we're both to them. Down the road, would they fight us if we overstayed our welcome? They might very well. Colonel Sean McFarland, Commander of US Forces in Ramadi.
Welcome back to Inside Iraq. We are discussing the role, impact and the future of the awakening councils in Iraq with former ambassador to Britain, Salah al-Sheikh and Saad Naji Jawad, a professor of political science at Baghdad University. Before the break, Saad Naji Jawad, the ambassador, had a massive indictment for the current political leadership for its bias in dealing with the Iraqi army and the security forces. But that role is not going to be limited to them. The Americans, they have something to say about it.
Yeah, well, I cannot but agree with the ambassador about what he said. I mean, when you have a biased political elite ruling a country, of course you will have effect on the other institutions in the country. But the problem, again, I should think, is not only that the government of Iraq is not willing to accept these people because of the excuses they are presenting. I think even the United States is fearful of these new awakening councils. They need them, yes. They use them, yes, but I think they are willing to drop them anytime, or at least they are not willing to give them the power that they need in order to perform their duties. Any army in the world is the emblem of national unity. The Iraqi army, when it was established in 1921, it was the crucible of unity, and it incarnated the unity of the country. Now we do not have this thing in Iraq, and whenever we speak about the army, we're not speaking about an Iraqi army.
And yet, with all fairness, Salah al-Sheikh, to the American troops and the American policy in Iraq, right now they have started to induct almost 10,000 Iraqi fighters from the awakening councils. They have finished their physical examinations, and many of them, they will be joining the Iraqi forces. But yet, that will not be sufficient, because 10,000 is absolutely a drop in an ocean.
Let's look at this in two ways. Number one, that the United States, having tried many venues, they have come to realize the mistake of their ways in the early years, 2004, 2005. Now I think they are doing the right thing, exactly the right thing. 10,000 may not be enough, but I think it's a good start. And I think we should support the enlisting of these people, whether it is in Anbar, whether it is in Diyala, whether it is in A'dhamiyya. And gradually, I think we should integrate them into the army. The other issue is there is a danger that any militia, whether it is the Anbar or it is elsewhere, they have an allegiance to a certain group or an ideology. And if you get an army with its allegiance, not its military commanders, but its political masters, this is where you have...
That is what's happening right now.
Exactly, and this is really gradually we have, you know, we cannot keep, you see, we cannot keep dismantling. We dismantled the army in 2004. Now we built something. I think gradually we should repair it rather than dismantle it again and go through the same process as we did.
There is another remedy for that, Saad Naji Jawad, and that is to keep the political leadership, currently the biased political leadership and domination of the Iraqi society, away from the army. Isn't that the answer?
Yes, but the thing is, are we really speaking about a real army, about discipline, about allegiance to the army, about commanders of the army of neutral nature? We're not speaking about that. We are speaking about militias divided in too many areas, and no matter what they do, they are staying in their own areas. They are of certain sex, of certain nationality, and then at any moment, if the political leadership or political allegiances of these people go against what the government is saying or the Americans are saying, they will go against them, and they will split into militia again, and they will fight these governments or
example in mind, Salah al-Sheikh is Basra.
We're not having a real army to speak about the army.
Example in mind, Salah al-Sheikh is in Basra right now. Basra is pretty much divided into among the political leadership.
No, look, I'm a very rational man. I really don't have any baggage with anybody. So I'm telling you a few facts. The commanders of the present army are the old army officers that used to be prior to 2003. Many of them have long experience. I met a number of these people. They belong to a variety of persuasions in Iraq, Sunni, Shi'is, Kurds, and these people are real professionals. I understand where Dr. Saad is coming from, but I can assure him I have great faith in these people. And please, I mean, you know, the reason I'm saying this, 5 years down the line, these people are going to be exactly as good and as professional as we used to know them prior to 2003.
Let me add another dimension to this. Saad Naji Jawad, many of the leadership in the Awakening Councils, they have been assassinated and killed, and there are certain reports that Al-Quds force from Iran, through some local collaborators, are behind the assassination.
Well, I think these people are subjected to assassination from many circles, not only from the Al-Quds regiment or what you call it. They have been assassinated by people from Al-Qaeda, from certain other militias, and so on. But and this is why I say there is no real army and there is no hope. I mean, these people have been promised a lot of things, and yet they are now complaining. Even salaries are not paid to them. I don't think Mr. Ambassador Sheikhli knows where I come from, but I think I do not accept any thing that divide the Iraqi society or the Iraqi people. I keep Iraqi unity and Iraqi union above all, no matter what are the other things which are the government or other than that the opposition are depending on to divide the Iraqi people. What I'm saying is there is no Iraqi army. There is no real representation of the Iraqi people in this army. The leading figures in the Iraqi army are coming from one element and not from the others.
Let me stop you here for just seconds. Saad Naji Jawad.
Just let me finish this. Just let me finish this, Jassim. The supposed Iraqi army in the north has no link with the Iraqi army in the south, and so on. So I don't think we could speak about a united Iraqi army that could develop in 5 years into a real army or professional army.
Add to that, Salah al-Sheikhli, how do you explain that there are a Shiite awakening councils in the south as a direct response to the dominations of the political leadership in the south of Iraq?
Well, actually, this goes to prove my point. When you have an Iraqi awakening, in other words, we cannot suddenly, many of these people in the south realize that by following the political masters in Baghdad, they suddenly become subservient to another ideology and perhaps to another country. We are Iraqis, irrespective of our color, creed, sect, nationality. And I think you will find, this is why I'm saying I have a great faith in the Iraqi nation. And sooner or later, everybody, south, north, and west, east, we're going to awaken to what had happened to us during the past 5 years. And we're going to take the matters into our own hand. And I feel we need to do it more peacefully than we used to do, or at least than had happened to us during the past 5 years since 2004. So I very much support these awakening councils in the south.
My final question to Dr. Saad Jawad. There is a race against time for these awakening council fighters. If they are not rewarded and integrated, do you see that they could relapse into chaos and perhaps even invite Al-Qaeda one more time?
Well, to tell you the truth, Jassim, from my own experience and understanding, the United States have lost all the allies they had before the invasion, and all those who thought that they could do good for Iraq after the invasion. Year after year, day after day, they are losing everybody who has a little bit of faith in them. So I think the awakening councils are no exception. In due time, they'll find that the Americans are playing with them, and they are putting them into the danger, and they will lose them.
Salah al-Sheikhli, you are no longer with the Iraqi government. If the Prime Minister al-Maliki is in front of you and you have to give him one advice vis-a-vis the Awakening Council, what would that be?
I would tell him, please do support these people, make them feel as stakeholders, make them feel that they are useful part of the Iraqi society, they'll be more help than hindrance to him and to the rest of the Iraqis.
Iraq's last ambassador to Britain, Dr. Salah al-Sheikh, Saad Naji Jawad, professor of political science from Baghdad University and senior analyst with the Center for Arab Unity in Beirut. Gentlemen, thank you for being guests on Inside Iraq. To access the show and to send us your comments, please go to aljazeera.net/English. We have reached the end of this show. Join me next week when we take another look inside Iraq. Goodbye.